had a view of Hammer on stage dancing with these baggy pants, doing the Taco Bell commercials and smiling and all that. But Hammer a real serious dude, man.
That's the mission. The dance is this is rolling dinner. Move, slide, Joe rock. Just for a minute, let's all do it.
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all laugh and y'all joke about Hammer. No, 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 no.
Have you ever judged a book by its cover? If so, try not to make that mistake with MC Hammer. Now, if you don't know who he is, let me remind you of the iconic hit You Can't Touch This.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Yeah, that's him. A lot of people think Hammer was just an ordinary dancer, a singer, a goofy guy in flashy pants and nothing more. But the truth is, MC Hammer was way more dangerous than the gangsters you might think are tough.
MC Hammer was there. That approached me. He was like, Red, I'm gonna tell you something, you young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me? I said, yes, sir.
Back in 2022, MC Hammer started trending on X, which used to be called Twitter, because of a viral photo. It was a shot from the 96 Grammys featuring Big Syke, Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, and Hammer at the 1996 Grammys. They were all decked out in their 90s finest. Hammer stood on the far right, arms neatly crossed behind his back, smiling, while everyone else had serious, mean-mugging expressions. The tweet accompanying the photo read, "I don't think I've ever seen anyone more out of place than Hammer was in this photo, LOL, but Twitter wasn't having it. People quickly jumped in to set the record straight about the Oakland legend. They made it clear that Hammer, despite his flashy pants, pop superstardom, and charm that could win over your mom, was not someone to mess with."
Hammer, you feel at home?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, me and she'll go back 10 years, so it's another day.
And a lot of rappers learned that the hard way.
And he used to, what anybody who talks come to the Bay Area, they was in for it. Cause we seen it, I seen it.
Even though a lot of people loved MC Hammer, he got a ton of criticism from the media and his peers. Other rappers loved to poke fun at him in their songs. They thought he was a sellout or a poser because he was dancing, singing, and wearing crazy outfits.
Are you a rapper or not?
Well, in one unescapable aspect, yes, and that is the fact that I don't sing. In every other aspect, the answer is no, I'm not a rapper. I entertain. I say that in not meaning any disrespect to other rappers or other rap artists.
This led to a lot of insults and jokes at his expense, but those same rappers quickly learned that they had severely underestimated him. From Redman.
And he was very serious about beef. Oh, you gonna talk about my dancing pants? I see you. And he will whoop a nigga out.
To Ice Cube.
Cube didn't get the memo though. He started talking about MC Hammer. MC Hammer pull up on him with a bunch of folks that love the color blue and love throwing up hand signs. I could go, yeah, I heard what happened to MC Search. I thought it was cap. My fault, Hammer. Hammer go great.
To MC Search, who ended up being traumatized for decades.
I've gone through 25 years of therapy 3 days a week. I am not good. I wish I could be good. But when somebody tries to kill you over a rap lyric,
Hammer made sure they all knew he wasn't a joke. Even notorious gangsters like the Crips ended up apologizing to him.
I'm waiting for you to move, Hammer. Hey, what's up? He said, hey man, it's like this. I'll make one phone call and all this will go away. And Hammer said, what's up, man? He said, man, I apologize for the thing. I didn't know, the people you knew and whatever, this and that. And I apologize for what I did, brother. It's all good, we cool, we good. And Hammer's like, yeah, it's all right.
So just how dangerous is MC Hammer? That's got so many rappers shaking in their boots. Let's dive deeper.
Hammer was raw dog. He did his thing. I actually used to like him. You know what I'm saying? On the real tip. People be talking, talking shit about Hammer, but run up on him.
Hammer beat your
I bet he'll beat your mother ass.
On March 30th, 1962, in Oakland, California, Stanley Kirk Burrell, better known to the world as MC Hammer, was born. The youngest of 8 siblings, Stanley came into a family struggling to make ends meet. His father was a professional poker player and gambling casino manager, while his mother worked as a secretary. Life was tough, and when his peers eventually separated, Stanley and his siblings grew up with their mother in a small 3-bedroom housing project in East Oakland. Stanley had to share a room with 5 of his siblings.
This
This is the home that made me work hard to want to be more than just a nobody in life or be more than just another drug dealer or something like that.
To escape the daily grind, Stanley would head to various Oakland parking lots with his friends. They would dance to beatbox rhythms, and when they weren't dancing, they'd sell baseballs for $2 each. Besides hanging out with his friends, young Stanley loved writing poetry and trying to emulate his idols from TV, especially the legendary James Brown. When Stanley was just 11, something remarkable happened. Oakland A's team owner Charlie Finley spotted him doing splits in the Oakland Coliseum parking lot. Finley saw something special in the kid's eyes and decided to give him a chance. He hired Stanley as a clubhouse assistant and a bat boy.
He recognized me as the owner of the ball club and walked over to me and he said, "Mr. Finley, could you take me into the game as your guest?" And I said, "Yes, I'd be glad to."
Actually, Stanley's brother Louis Burrell Jr. was the real bat boy, while Stanley's job was to take calls and provide play-by-play commentary for Finley during every game. For the next 7 years, Stanley became Finley's eyes and ears, earning himself the nickname Hammer during this time. This nickname, of course, would soon become famous nationwide.
I got my nickname the Hammer because of my resemblance when I was very small to Hank Aaron, the Big Hammer. So everyone was calling me the Little Hammer. The guys on the Oakland A's when I was the bat boy for the Oakland A's, and I kept the name.
The MC in his name stands for Master of Ceremonies, a title he earned while performing at various clubs during his travels with the A's. During these years, he became friends with many of the A's players, relationships that would play a crucial role in his future career. By 1980, Burrell had graduated from McClemens High School. He decided to take undergraduate classes in communications while also pursuing his dream of becoming a professional baseball player. Back then, dancing and writing poetry were just hobbies for Stanley. His heart was set on a career in baseball.
I thought that I wanted to be a professional baseball player, and I thought that the attention that they received and, the things that came with being a star athlete was really the epitome.
Unfortunately, Stanley's dream of becoming a professional baseball player came to an abrupt end when he didn't make the final cut at a San Francisco Giants tryout. With his hopes crushed, Hammer found himself at a crossroads. Growing up in a tough neighborhood, he saw many of his childhood friends making quick money by selling drugs on the streets. For a brief moment, Stanley considered joining them, but deep down he knew he was meant for something greater. This epiphany led him to enlist in the United States Navy, where he served as a petty officer and aviation storekeeper for 3 years until his honorable discharge. After his stint in the Navy, Hammer's passion for music and religion reignited, but before his successful music career took off, he first tried his hand at forming a Christian rap group with singer and musician John Gibson called the Holy Ghost Boys. Along with Tremaine Hawkins, Hammer performed with Gibson's band at various venues, including the Beverly Theater in Beverly Hills. Unfortunately, the group did not gain much traction, and after releasing a few songs, they disbanded. Determined to fulfill his dream, Hammer decided to take destiny into his own hands. He reached out to 2 of Oakland's A's players, Dwayne Murphy and Mike Davis, and asked for a loan of $20,000 to start his own record label. Surprisingly, they agreed, and in 1986, MC Hammer founded Busted Records. He hit the streets recruiting rappers, DJs, and dancers to join his venture. Among the first recruits were Kent Wilson, aka Lone Mixer, his DJ Kevin Wilson, aka Too Big MC, his hype man, and Sweet LD, Terrible T, and Lil P, who were dubbed Oakland's 357 and served as his background dancers. Hammer was relentless and focused, leading marathon rehearsal sessions to push his act to the next level. He applied the discipline and work ethic he learned in the Navy to his music career. He once commented, "We have to keep our organization disciplined because we have goals, and in order to achieve those goals, we have to be disciplined."
So you find yourself being somewhat of a father on the tour, a strict dad?
I don't want to ever have to call somebody's mother or father and say, "I got bad news for you."
In 1986, Hammer was on a roll. That year, he recorded his first single, Ring'em. Teaming up with Felton Pilati, the frontman, instrumentalist, and producer of the recently disbanded Con-Funk Shun, Hammer recorded his first full-length album in Pilati's basement studio. By August of that year, Busted Records released MC Hammer's debut LP, Feel My Power. Hammer and his wife Stephanie were relentless in promoting the album. They hustled hard, pushing it to local DJs and recording and selling singles out of the trunk of their car. Thanks to their tireless street marketing, singles like Ring 'Em became pretty popular at dance clubs around the San Francisco Bay Area. With the couple working as Busted's promo team, Feel My Power managed to sell an impressive 60,000 copies. This grassroots success did not go unnoticed. Soon enough, major labels started knocking on Hammer's door. He had to turn down several record deals in the past, but when Capitol Records came calling, it was too good to resist. In 1988, Hammer signed a multi-album deal with Capitol Records worth an astonishing $10 million. From his advance, which was $1.75 million, Hammer decided to reinvest $750,000 into Busted Records. With his next project, MC Hammer was ready to take over the world. That same year, Hammer reissued his first record, Feel My Power, with some additional tracks. This reissue sold over 2 million copies. On September 28, 1988, he released Let's Get It Started, an album that featured hit singles like Pump It Up, Turn This Mother Out, Let's Get It Started, and They Put Me in the Mix, all of which landed on the charts. 2 years later, in 1990, MC Hammer dropped his infamous album Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, which included the iconic single You Can't Touch This. The album's success catapulted Hammer to legendary status, selling an unbelievable 22 million copies.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
It's hard to overstate just how popular MC Hammer was at the time. He was everywhere: music videos, commercials, movies, and even cartoons. The album marked the beginning of his run at hip-hop stardom. Throughout the years, Hammer continued to release albums, many of which became certified classics. With the spotlight all to himself, it seemed like everything from here on out would be smooth sailing. However, as is often the case with fame, things were not always easy. While many people loved MC Hammer, he also received a lot of criticism from the media and some of his peers.
Are you a rapper or not?
Well, in one unescapable aspect, yes, and that is the fact that I don't sing. But in every other aspect, the answer is no, I'm not a rapper. I entertain. I say that in not meaning any disrespect to other rappers or other rap artists.
At the height of his career, people didn't quite know what to make of MC Hammer. His clean-cut look and carefully choreographed dance routines didn't exactly scream typical hip-hop artist, much less a tough guy. After all, this was a grown man dancing around in colorful outfits and those iconic parachute pants. With this image in their heads, folks in the music industry and some of the hottest rappers of the time saw Hammer as an easy target. A soft guy from Oakland they could diss on their records without fear of retaliation. But boy, were they wrong. Despite his flashy stage presence, Hammer was no pushover. While he was jumping around on stage, MC Hammer and his family had some serious mob ties in Oakland. Specifically, they were connected to Felix Mitchell, a notorious drug lord from Oakland who led the 6ix9ine mob criminal organization. At his peak, Mitchell was reportedly raking in over $1 million a month selling crack and heroin on the streets. One of his main territories was the very neighborhood where Hammer grew up. Although the FBI took down Felix Mitchell and his crew in 1985, Hammer and his brothers had spent most of their lives surrounded by gangsters, so despite his polished image, MC Hammer had affiliations with some of the most powerful street figures in Oakland. When people started to mock him, Hammer made sure to assess the situation. In 1987, Hammer mentioned LL Cool J's name in his song Let's Get It Started. Fast forward 3 years to 1990, and LL Cool J responded with a diss track called To the Break of Dawn, taking shots at Kool Moe Dee, MC Hammer, and Ice-T. When Hammer heard what LL Cool J had said about him, he didn't just brush it off. Instead, he sent a few of his guys to confront LL Cool J after one of his shows. Allegedly, an argument broke out, and LL Cool J ended up getting punched in the face. Eventually, Hammer and LL managed to meet up, resolve their issues, and get back on good terms. However, not all of Hammer's beefs ended so smoothly. Take the situation with Third Bass, for example. In response to Hammer dissing Run DMC, Third Bass decided to take things up a notch by dissing Hammer's mother in their song The Cactus. The line in question, The Cactus Turned Hammer's Mother Out, was a play on the title of Third Bass's 1989 album The Cactus Album and Hammer's record from the same year, Turn This Mother Out. In 2015, Search told the Ed Lover Show about receiving death threats from Hammer's brother Louis Burrell during a flight to Los Angeles. We're in the air, Search said, and Carmen Ashurst Watson, who was the president of Def Jam at the time, picks up the phone and hears someone say, "Is Third Bass on their way to LA?" And she goes, "Yeah." And the voice says, "Good, they're dead. This is Louis Burrell." Search claimed that the $50,000 hit was confirmed by fellow Def Jam artist Eric B. and was supposed to be carried out by the LA Crips.
Right. So we were saying our album was doper, but we were saying it New York slick shit. Like we had some slick talk coming out our mouth.
Right.
Hammer thought we were talking about us fucking his mom. And Eric B basically puts a feeler out and finds out it's true. That there's a hit out on Third Bass.
with the Crips.
In response to the brewing tensions, Russell Simmons decided to take some precautions and asked Barefoot Boogie to look after third base while they were in LA. Just a couple of days later, MC Search decided to hit up a mall with his girl, having Boogie watch their backs. While they were at the mall, Search got approached by some fans and started signing autographs. During these few minutes, some Crips showed up and started pressing him. Luckily for Search, Boogie stepped in and managed to defuse the situation before it got ugly.
When I'm signing autographs, and as they get closer, the dude over here, he pulls the rag up. Dude over here, he pulls the rag up. As they come up to me, Pookie whistles. Everything stops. He throws up some signs. One dude right in front of me, who's got his hand on his ratchet, pulls down his mask and he goes, "Yo, man, I love that record, but I was finna smoke you right now, homie."
But instead of seeing this as a stroke of good luck, Search continued to stoke the flames of their feud with Hammer. The very next day, Search went on the radio and, while live on air, called MC Hammer a bitch and challenged him to meet up, accusing him of hiding behind goons. It didn't take long for the radio station to get a phone call from a guy claiming to be a rolling 60s Crip who told Search, "We're going to kill you."
I said, if you feel like we dissed your matriarchal, that's okay, but you know what you did. You know what's going on in these streets. Why don't you man up and see me face to face so we can figure this out? Stop being a bitch. Live. Greg Mack, who's this? Rolling 60 Crip, N-word, we finna kill them. Boop! Out!
With that serious threat hanging over their heads, third base immediately bolted from the station, jumped into their car, and headed back to their hotel. As they were driving, a car full of Crips started tailing them and even pointed guns at them, making it clear they meant business. Somehow, they managed to make it back to their hotel rooms in one piece. For the rest of their press run in LA, they wore disguises and tried to keep a low profile, getting out of the city as soon as their promo duties were done. In a later interview, Search said the fear and anger over the incident have never left him. "I'm not good," he told Vlad TV in 2018. "I've been through 25 years of therapy 3 days a week. I am not good. I wish I could be good, but when somebody tries to K-word you over a rap lyric, understand what it feels like to not know that you can turn a corner without someone trying to K-word you for $50,000.
I've gone through 25 years of therapy 3 days a week. I am not good. I wish I could be good. But when somebody tries to kill you over a rap lyric..."
Now, this situation made people speculate that Hammer was part of the Crips, but it turns out MC Hammer never claimed any gang affiliation in his life. Despite all the chaos, MC Hammer denied having any involvement in the threats or the incident at the mall.
20-something years later, the Search cat, he wanted his claim to fame to be, I'm telling you, Hammer was gonna have me, put in the dirt somewhere. That's ridiculous.
In 1991, Ice Cube dropped a video for his single, True to the Game, that stirred up more drama for MC Hammer. In the video, there's a scene showing a rapper in hardcore attire who later switches into a flashy red sequined outfit, symbolizing a rapper selling out and crossing over into pop culture. The man in the video looked suspiciously like MC Hammer, and Hammer wasn't about to let that slide without a response. One day, Hammer was chilling in his hotel room when someone he was on the phone with mentioned spotting Ice Cube at Roscoe's in Hollywood. Without missing a beat, Hammer and his entourage jumped into their cars and sped over to Roscoe's. Arriving in just a few minutes, they caught Ice Cube as he was leaving the place and confronted him about the video. Allegedly, Hammer told Cube to never let something like that happen again, and Cube reportedly responded, "No sir, that won't happen again." But it wasn't just Ice Cube who found himself in Hammer's crosshairs. In 1992, Redman released his album What? The Album, which included an intro track called Funky Uncles. This intro features a conversation between two people about MC Hammer. One person expresses how much they like Hammer, while the other dismisses him, saying, "I don't know what you see in him, he ain't ish." The conversation escalates with, "Your mama ain't ish, your daddy ain't ish, ain't nobody ish." MC Hammer didn't take kindly to this diss either. When he heard that Redman was in town, Hammer decided he had to confront him as well.
And I did the skit, and I was like, you know what? That goddamn MC Hammer, f him, f his mama, and the whole nine. That nigga came up to me on MTV Cribs on the last episode they had.
Redman said he was subsequently chased out of Oakland by Hammer's affiliates. "We had to get the F out of there, they wasn't playing. We was almost boxed in," he told Vlad TV in 2016. And in 1995, when both MCs were on set for the final episode of Yo MTV Raps, Hammer approached Redman and reportedly said, "Red, I'm gonna tell you something, you're young, but I don't allow nobody to talk about my mama, you understand me?" Redman later admitted that his response to Hammer was, "Yes, sir." He elaborated, "I got the message, I heard about Hammer and I seen his his work. I'm good, my brother, because I've got to come to the West Coast and get money. I like it out there. I like the Bay Area. So F that, you're right. I won't talk about your mama.
That nigga approached me. He was like, Red, I'm gonna tell you something, you young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me? I said, yes, sir.
Redman admits he learned his lesson. That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all mother F laugh and y'all joke about Hammer? No, 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 no. When anybody that talked ish came to the Bay Area, they was in for it, cause we seen it, I seen it.
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all motherfuckers laugh and y'all joke about Hammer? No, 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 no. And he used to what? Anybody who talk shit come to the Bay Area, they was in for it. Cause we seen it. I seen it.
In a 2018 interview, Too Short expressed respect for MC Hammer, having come up around the same time. Quote, Hammer was a big dog, Too Short said. He got respected in the streets. He came from a respected crew. They handled business, him and his brother Lewis in the crew. Asked about the alleged hit Hammer put out on MC Search, Too Short said the only part he didn't believe was the $50,000 because Hammer would never have to pay for such services. Without spending any money, he could have told people to F MC Search the F up, Too Short said. I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody to F somebody up. His people would just do it. We're from Oakland, like he wouldn't even have to say it.
Without spending any money, Hammer could have told some people to fuck him the fuck up. Like that wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have, I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody to fuck somebody up.
During a 2020 chat with E40 for All Urban Central, Fat Joe mentioned encountering Hammer one time in the Las Vegas airport. Joe said Hammer greeted him warmly, then proceeded to explain that he wasn't to be trifled with. He was like, you know I get it poppin' for real, Joe recalled. E40 was in no way surprised by this news. Well, he's from Oakland for one, the Vallejo rapper responded. He's from the town. He's highly respected and connected, you know what I mean? All the fixtures and factors know him, he knows them. He rocks it, he's heavy, his brother's Gangsters. Hammer is far from a sucker, and Hammer's physically fit. You know he'll put his hands on you.
Sometimes, you know, it's entertainment. So he tried to let me know. We sat down. He was like, yo, don't get it. You know, I'm a real gangster from Oakland. I was like, yo, Hammer, you ain't got to do this to me.
Hammer isn't a stranger to street life, but sometimes trouble finds you even when you're not looking for it. Take June 23rd, 1992, for example. Hammer was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, participating in a charity softball game. Afterward, they hosted a barbecue for local kids and firefighters at Roosevelt Park. Everyone was having a good time, but then a guy rides by the park and threatens to shoot up the entire barbecue. Before Hammer could get everyone out of the park, the guy returned and started shooting from a moving vehicle. 4 people were shot, including 3 members of Hammer's crew. Also, during the mid-90s, Hammer linked up with Suge Knight and signed with Death Row Records in '95.
Hammer, you feeling home?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, me and she'll go back 10 years, so you know, it's another day.
He completed an album for the label, but it never saw the light of day. After Tupac's death in 1996, Hammer decided to leave Death Row Records. Despite his street credentials, Hammer never promoted or glorified that lifestyle during his peak in the 90s. He always aimed to be a positive influence on kids.